What was a major PR disaster? That time when the Got Milk campaign expanded to Mexico. But they ended up putting up billboards that said, "Are you lactating?" Going way back, in internet years, to the early 1980s. Osborne Computer Company announced their forthcoming new model would be much better than their existing one. So of course people stopped buying the existing one. And thus they went out of business before the new one was ready. In Australia, our supermarket Woolworths has the slogan, "We're the fresh food people." On Anzac Day, basically a memorial day for our fallen troops, they tried to do a promotion called Fresh in Our Memories. It did not go down well. KFC decided to give out free chicken for one day as part of a promotion. Obviously. However, you have to play it safe with your advertising when doing something like this. If you give out all of your product for free, then that's a loss, but you still want people to be aware of it. So you should advertise it on a talk show that will be viewed but not by everyone. So, who's this Oprah Winfrey chick? She's just a niche thing, right? Let's advertise it on her show. The results are pretty much what you would expect. To add insult to injury, this was in 2009 at the height of the Great Recession, making free anything all that much more appealing. Via Rail Canada. They promised a student pass for Canada's 150th. For $150. Because trains are so damn expensive. When the sales went live, the site crashed. Only a small amount of people got tickets. And Via Rail said that was it. No more. Followed by a massive uproar. They reopened selling the tickets at 3 AM Pacific, 7 AM Atlantic. While in the process of selling these, 4,000 people managed to get tickets. But Via Rail said only 1,867, Canada was confederated, would get them. Around 2,000 people didn't get the tickets they had originally purchased. And were refunded. Followed by another uproar. They were charged and given their tickets back. Train travel in Canada is extremely expensive. And many people, much like myself, who want to see the country, but cannot afford to fly or drive, tried to take advantage of this opportunity. The prices were too low and the demand was way too high. I don't understand how Via Rail did not see that coming. Didn't Starbucks briefly have their employees try to talk to customers about current race issues in America? Edit. It was Starbucks' Race Together campaign where baristas were encouraged to ask customers how they felt about race in America. Would you like whipped cream with that? Yes. Okay. And what do you think we as a country must do to diffuse racial tensions? Only I'm not dealing with this before drinking my coffee. Definitely Tay the Twitter bot. KKK Wednesday at a Krispy Kreme donut shop in the UK. It was meant to promote the Krispy Kreme Club. That can't be real. The Red Lobster endless crab deal that almost bankrupted them. Two big factors that contributed to that being such a horrible idea. 1. They were offering crab out of season, so it was more expensive for the chain. 2. They severely underestimated American gluttony, thinking the money lost in crab would be made up with other food items and drinks. Also, people camped at tables, meaning less turnover for customers during service. Right after Germany wiped Argentina in football, the German company Bayer launched an ad campaign for an insecticide. With a slogan like "We are known for our total eradication." Bayer also made Zyklon B, which was used in the German death camps. Also, people in Argentina take football seriously. Bill Cosby posting "Go ahead. Meme me" on Twitter 3 weeks after Hannibal Buress called him out for RP. Ask R. Kelly. New Coke. That time that Burger King released a 6-second ad with the "OK Google, what is the Whopper burger?" Full stop. This triggered any nearby Google devices to give a description of the Whopper burger. Except that it got the info straight from Wikipedia. So people just went to the Wikipedia Whopper page and changed the information to say things like "contains children" and "contains traces of cyanide." Eventually Google just said it and made the ad not work with Google devices anymore if I remember correctly. Ridgemore Mall in Fort Worth. They are have added an interactive aquarium in the mall and it is going to be huge and allow you to touch the rays and whatnot. Sounds cool, right? Here's the problem. They barely advertised it at all. They forced out Neiman Marcus and Macy's was already gone and moved all the stores between those anchors either to the opposite side of the mall or forced them out too. Everyone thinks the mall is closing, but in reality, they're improving IT. But they had like one tiny sign for the entire area of empty space and now the mall actually is in danger of closing because they were too cheap to actually advertise. McDonald's I'd Hit It campaign. Making it seem like the guy on the ad wanted to a burger. Bill Cosby's Meme Me, which turned into a load of RPay memes. When they were advertising the Aqua Teen movie and people thought the ads were bombs. You left out the best part. The marketers had a press conference where, on the advice of their lawyer, they would not discuss the case and instead would only answer questions about haircuts from the 1970s. How BP initially handled the Deepwater Horizon explosion. The CEO, Tony Hayward, standing down near the docks in a business suit while everyone else is in work gear, made him look seriously out of touch. He and his son going sailing, like they were on a vacation. And then him saying I'd just like my life back on the news. Acting like having to deal with this was a big inconvenience to him. Michael Phelps versus a shark. Who will win? That got so hyped and not once did they listen when somebody said that a computer simulation was of course going to fail to satisfy. Why I Stayed You Had Pizza. Susan Boyle had an album release party. Philip Morris study on how deaths caused by smoking save over $100 million annually. Somewhere in Eastern Europe. Acclaim. Video game company. Once tried to advertise on tombstones. They said it might appeal to poorer families. Showing an episode of Dallas in communist Romania back in the 80s. It was supposed to show them how bad Western society is like. People there got head off when they saw how the city, Dallas, looked better compared to their living conditions. Major disaster for the government. That British spin doctor who sent her boss an email asking what unpopular news they could bury due to the events then currently happening at New York on the 11th of September. 2001. Zuck's Burger. Philippines. This burger chain tried to sell one of their burgers for 8 PHP, $1 50 PHP, for their 8-year anniversary awesome and failed to note that this promo is only available to the first 100 customers or so. Then came the day of the event and it was literally an apocalypse when the malls opened at 10 AM and people flooded and rushed to the place. It was a stampede. People got hurt. Imagine hordes of zombies trying to chase down a guy. That's what it looked like based on the videos I've seen on social media. It was poorly planned and they underestimated the Filipino people mayo. To be fair, their burgers are good. It's normally priced at 200 PHP, $4, and I can see why they wanted to eat one at a discount. Edit. Words. Formatting. Marvel announced on Twitter a partnership with weapons manufacturer Northrop Grumman. It's worth noting that they did this the same week as the Vegas shooting. BP oil spill is pretty much a textbook example of a PR disaster. The CEO said he just wanted his life back after millions of gallons of oil spilled into the ocean. Zac Efron tweeting I'm thankful for two things today. MLK and hitting 10 million Instagram followers. Many people took offense to it and he wasn't able to deny it. Being fair. Every free PRN video is an incest themed video. Stepmom, stepsister, etc. Mountain Dew's dubbed the Jew campaign and the whole American United Airlines fiasco of this year. Hitler did nothing wrong. Gerald Ratner, former CEO of the Ratner's jewelry chain, with over 300 stores, described his own products as crap in 1992. There are now no Ratner's jewelers. The Philippine Pepsi riots in 1992. Pepsi wanted to increase sales in the pie, so they had a prize contest where winning numbers would be printed under bottle caps. Sales of Pepsi went up 31% and 30 million people bought Pepsi. Someone decided 349 was a winning number. 800,000 caps had 349 printed on them. Pepsi couldn't pay. Chaos ensued. Bottling plants were burned. Employees and managers were assaulted. A grenade at one plant killed 3 people. Pepsi executives fled the country, still owing winners over $1 million. How about those people who abused their child on a YouTube video and then posted a video of how it was just a prank, bro? Pokemon Go Fest. I was there to witness it all. Me and 20,000 other people are gathered around in Grant Park in Chicago to play Pokemon Go and catch rare and special Pokemon. But because 20,000 people are all trying to play the game in the same area, the cell networks became very overwhelmed and the game wouldn't load for about 99% of the attendees. This led to people shouting at the main stage, "We can't play," and overall making people very angry. In the end, everyone was refunded on the tickets. $100 of premium in-game currency was given to every attendee. And legendary Pokemon were released worldwide shortly after the event. The Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad. The United Airlines dragging off the Asian doctor. Pretty aired up and poorly handled. The announcement of the Xbox One. Your Secretariat. When Ariana Grande was caught licking a donut, it wasn't hers. It was on the counter. Then she made an apology video talking about the rise of obesity in America, lol. When Justin Timberlake exposed Janet Jackson's nipple on Live at the Super Bowl halftime show. This is why there is a delay on Live TV now. Edit. I should add a much longer delay. From seconds to minutes. 5 minutes. Even Hitler didn't sink to using chemical weapons. Okay. Probably not a major disaster. But it was quite funny. Hitler didn't sink to using chemical weapons on his own people. Oh. No, I mean not on his own citizens. Ooh. Don't know if this counts, but the Fire Festival. JCPenney's no sales year. CeeLo Green opening his mouth. Does No Man's Sky count with all the talking about current tech like skyboxes or the overhype or even promising multiplayer was in it but was proven wrong? The answer has to be the Shell Oil Company Greenpeace meme generator about 5 years ago, just after they were granted permission to drill in the Arctic. Their intention was to show beautiful scenery of Arctic nature and allow people to create captions. It backfired badly and everyone made jokes about oil spills and extinction of animal species. Hilarious actually, because I can't imagine what else they had assumed people would do with these images. Let's go. Edit. Okay, I was wrong. Greenpeace and others were trolling Shell. Still hilarious though. I worked at an aquarium and we were promoting a new crustacean exhibit. They printed and hung signs outside and ran a short-lived commercial saying, "We've got crabs." Some news lady that said the Las Vegas victims deserved it because country fan equals Trump voter. A vegan food truck owner in Scranton had to close shop after publicly saying that killing 60 meat eaters must have saved millions of animals. Apple giving everyone the last U2 album for free. I mean, on paper it shouldn't have been a big deal. It's a free album you can delete. But it's just so hilarious how head off this made people. The issue was that people couldn't delete the album at first. Apple even had to release a special tool that allowed you to delete the album. Mitt Romney 47% quote. Don't forget about the binders full of women. Baylor University a couple years ago. Much worse, the Baylor disaster when one of their baseball players, Carlton Dotson, murdered another, Patrick Dennehy. The 30 for 30 about it is wild. An assistant coach recorded the head coach trying to convince the other players to lie and say Dennehy was a drug dealer and that's how he died. This one's not their fault. But Weight Watchers was set to put out an ad campaign launching the day after Princess Diana died. Now this ad was planned months in advance. So it's just a coincidence. But the ad featured the Princess of Finland stating losing weight is harder than losing the paparazzi. They cancelled all the billboards and TV spots. So it didn't get too big. But anything that was produced in advance, like a magazine, still had the ad. You are seeing it right now. Major scandal about Harvey Weinstein right now. But people like Woody Allen are dumb enough to open their yap and say something about how they worry about false accusations. And James Corden. How stupid are these people? Yeah, from a PR perspective, this is a no-brainer. If you have no history of abuse, say that Weinstein is bad. If there are public accusations or about you, shut the hell up and don't draw attention. It'd have to be my NYPD. Whoever was managing the NYPD Twitter thought it'd be a great idea for users to share their pictures with the police, hoping they'd have uplifting photos. Yeah. That went as well as you'd expect, and soon it was pretty much overrun with photos of police brutality. The woman who said that we shouldn't mourn the victims of the Vegas shooting because they were probably Republicans. The Spice Girls marketing team ran an open-ended fan poll to determine the next city location for their global tour. Baghdad came very close to winning. This was during peak Iraq occupation. That Pepsi commercial recently about protests. Wolf Cola. You really shouldn't mess with Boko Haram. Nor dogs apparently. In the 80s, multiple people died after taking Tylenol. It was found that somebody had tampered with the product and injected cyanide into the pills. Their manufacturer, Johnson & Johnson, acted fast and was able to restore public trust. This case study is still taught in PR programs in uni. Kathy Griffin holding a press conference after holding that head that looked like Donald Trump. She kept going on about things unrelated to the subject. Holly Davidson giving new models to a bunch of pricks, and Ludacris, one of whom immediately broke out a can of spray paint and painted a new ride most viewers can't even afford. Instead of gifting to HD enthusiasts who would cherish new wheels, they add up. Luda being the exception. Convincing Reddit that firing Victoria was a good thing. Can't believe I haven't seen PepsiCo's huge up with their Dub the Dew campaign. Mayo pretty much they let the internet name the next flavor of Mountain Dew. When they finally pulled the plug, the winning flavor name was Hitler did nothing wrong. When the AIDS virus was announced in the 80s, there was actually an over-the-counter drug called AIDS. I think it was a digestive aid for seniors. They didn't last long. AIDS was an appetite suppressant in chewy candy form. One with a hot beverage before dinner. Deepwater Horizon oil spill. CEO standing in front of a million cameras saying I cancelled my holiday for this, or words to that effect. He was removed not long after. And South Park takes the "You know you've ed up. We're sorry." Jared from Subway. The unsinkable Titanic. The Szechuan sauce bowl. I felt like it reflected more poorly on the Rick and Morty fanbase than McDonald's. MCD may have underprepared, but watching all of the Necba Diam Verismit crowd torment the minimum wage workers of McDonald's was sad. Sony suggesting people get a second job if they couldn't afford a PS3. Clinton 2016 presidential run. Got a pretty relevant story from my dad. He works in IT for a bingo company and they recently released a lot of flyers advertising events at various locations. Whoever worked in PR decided it'd be a great idea to change the color of the first letter of the location name. But the color was very similar to the background and meant that it was very difficult to see. This was especially bad for the event they were holding in S-Horp. Can we please talk about Rampart? When United Airlines knocked some guy out because he didn't want to leave the seat he paid for. When United unveiled their Gestapo department. Ryan lodged in Rio. The guy lied to his mom and caused an international scandal. The Ford Paseo. Paseo means I walk in Spanish. Tesco having horse burgers. Unisys had a huge PR push with Microsoft to promote Windows Server and web services titled "We Have the Way Out" as an alternative to Unix-based systems. The only issue was that the web server they used to advertise the promotion was running Linux. They were fairly embarrassed when this was called out on tech blogs and made the whole campaign seem silly. DC had an art contest going on that gave the challenge for contestants to draw Harley Quinn committing suicide in a SI yet comical way. The contest was announced just a few days before the start of National Suicide Prevention Week. Needless to say, people got upset. Sinead O'Connor tearing a picture of Pope and honorary Harlem Globetrotter John Paul II in half on SNL. She did it in protest of the Catholic Church covering up tons of sexual abuse cases against children. Unfortunately, she didn't really explain what it was that she was trying to say. Just ripped the photo of the Pope and said fight the real enemy. I actually feel really bad for her now because of what we know today about the validity of those cover-ups. It destroyed her career and she's pretty well broken suicidal now. Ja Rule trying to pass off Dystopia as a luxury music festival. Got to be the Conservative Party from the UK's election campaign. They started 26 points ahead of their nearest rival in April. The election was in June. Let's just say they didn't win. I mean, technically they did. They finished with more seats than Labour and held on to office. But yes, I agree that it was a monumental public flop. Going from expected landslide win to just barely falling over the line and needing to be propped up by minor parties. They say that there's no such thing as bad publicity. But remember, what are the initials for bad publicity? Can't believe this hasn't been mentioned. The New England Patriots had set up an automated Twitter post for when they hit their 1 millionth follower. They had an image of the back of one of their jerseys that auto-filled the Twitter handle onto the back. And then auto-tweeted the image out. Problem is, Donald Trump's Twitter account. Every damn day. I remember there was the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 trailer which depicted the news declaring a state of emergency as American soil was attacked. Holy chat. When the Tale live-action 2004 Thunderbirds movie was made, they literally could not pay the creator of the original 60s Thunderbirds TV show, Jerry Anderson, to say nice things about it. In fact, he called it the biggest load of crap I have ever seen in my life. The Mountain Dew Name Our New Flavor Contest. Or whatever it was called. Fapple. Best product name ever.